So, yeah, just and you mentioned around owning your power and getting excited about the future. So let's hear a little bit more about you. It's so beautiful to hear about your business, but what are the things that you would share with an audience? I mean, Journeys to Inspire is also really about inspiring, women leaders, women coming through the ranks, youngsters, people at school, people coming through university to really come through the ranks and they are the leaders of the future. And how do we really shift this narrative into being excited where there is a fear of job loss, and where is technology taking us? So owning your power, you are a success story. You've done exceptionally well. Stepped into a very brave space. Running your own business, launching the academy, and I know there's some other exciting things on the horizon for you. But tell us a little bit about that, owning your power, and what did that mean for you, and what does that look like for you as a woman coming through the ranks, and maybe just help us understand that in the inclusive, diverse journey that you personally have experienced.
Yeah, what I've experienced in the industry. When I was a software developer, I was a girl developer, and the team were
Sorry,
guys.
a gold or a girl developer, a female
Girl,
developer.
girl developer, yeah,
Yeah.
female developer, and the rest
Mm.
of the team were all guys. So when I looked at the components that the guys were developing versus what they would give me to develop, it would be like, let's give Sam that small piece so that she doesn't break our code, And it's like, don't
Uh,
let Sam check the code in. Give it to me. I'll check it in for you. And
so
was
Sam, is this like a trusting because you're a female, actually trusting your capability, your ability
yeah,
to
yeah.
do
I
great
was
things?
never prepared to accept that, that I'm not being given the benefit of the doubt and I had to fight really hard. And I remember this one time in my career, Sean, where none of my other team members knew how to code an XML web service. I was the only one who knew how to do that. And we were building these web services it was actually for one of the big banks. I was working for a smaller consulting company. And the bank requested an XML web service to be built between the bank and the dealerships. And when we had a meeting, our team leader said, well, who has, the knowledge of this? And then I was like this little mouse putting my hand up like me. I know how to
Wow.
do it. And everybody was like, you, how do you know? And I was like, well, I do. And I managed to do it. And those were like the small bits and pieces that helped me to build courage over the years because I did know, and I did. I built that web service for the bank, and they used it and they implemented it. It went live and it was a success. But even though that's just a small example, it continued throughout my career, and I felt um, sometimes it's bullying because you're female and it's been a male dominated industry. Those are dynamics that we can't deny. It just exists. It always has. And we are starting to see a slight change, but I guess it takes time. But sometimes I think it's also being bullied when being a female but also being a skilled female, um, it's just not right. Maybe sometimes people are not comfortable with that. And
Mm.
I wrote a blog on my website. It's a really cool blog. It's called "Your Woman Act Accordingly," and the story behind this blog was about a headhunter calling me to be the chief architect at one of it's a state-owned enterprise. I'm playing it safe here without mentioning company names, But basically, it was going to enter into a leadership role amongst other leaders, and I was like, okay, cool. I'll pursue this because the salary was like, whoa, it's like that's a lot. So I was like, okay, let's go for it. Let's do this interview process. I'm keen to see what comes out of this one. And when she called me the next day, and she's like, great, you're going to go for the interview, but please, you've got to understand that you're going to be in the presence of a lot of really strong uh, male tech leaders. So, please understand that you are the woman in the room, so you need to act accordingly. And I was like, what? What does that mean? Act accordingly. Like, should I go in there and curtsy? Like, hi. I couldn't make sense of it.
Mm.
Like, what does she mean? And I figured out, okay, this is where this is going, and I was like, thanks, but no thanks. We're not moving forward. She's like, but why? Because you're the candidate. And I was like, I'm just not going forward. I'm not interested. I'm sure they could find a really suitable, strong male tech for this role, or whatever it is you're looking for. You'll find that, but it's just not going to be me. And it prompted me to actually write that article that said, how many people would be comfortable with it? It's like, sure, I'm going to land soft. It's going to be a cushy job for me. So yeah, those are some of the journeys that pushed me to be true to myself. Just be true to me. The industry might not welcome Sam as a female. The industry might not want to acknowledge Sam as a technologist, but does that define me? And my answer was a resounding no. Um,
Lovely.
I know who I am, I know what I'm capable of, and seeking the approval of only industry leaders was not fulfilling enough for me.
Mm.
And what that's led to with Fluid Intellect as well is I started a journey of working with and a commitment to looking at working mostly with interns. If you look at some of the guys that we've started the company with, there was a clear and an intentional decision made to employ interns because I wanted to empower these young guys and make them feel like they're great from the time they enter this
Mm.
industry, and not be made to feel like your time will come. Your time's going to come. With the
Mm.
stuff they do in gaming and the stuff they do on their mobile devices, they could show a lot of our leaders, what the youth call flames. I've learned this new thing where if they're doing cool stuff, they're showing you flames. So I'm being kept young by these interns because they use vocab and language that I've never heard before, but I'm enjoying it, so it's fine. But and we work really closely with the Tshwane University of Technology, where they've got this work integrated learning program, and we've partnered with them to bring interns on board to work in the software development environment, where we give them exposure to technologies that they haven't used in university yet. It's been so richly rewarding and fulfilling. And to be able to work with the youth and empower them and make them feel good and push them to build up their skill sets, been really awesome. So yeah, that's one of the best journeys for me so far.
Yeah, really, really beautiful and empowering, and love what you're doing with the it's Swanee, right? Is that correct?
Yes,
That's it. Yeah.
Tshwane. I could be saying it wrong. Tshwane University of
Yes.
Technology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the empowerment piece, and so coming back to the sort of the pieces that you've shared now and again, I think so many sort of, and I don't want to just talk around women. I think so many up and coming. I think because even sort of these young men you mentioned, not that it's just men, young boys or adults in your academy, but youngsters coming through into the corporate ranks, for example, showing flair, showing this kind of dynamic technology savviness that I'm still catching up to. And
Yeah.
again, being in the sort of crypto metaverse space, I understand the new words, like you got to flex your NFT. It's like, huh?
Yeah.
What is that? So it's like, okay, I got to start flexing my stuff here. But you mentioned such important pieces of your journey that I think I would sort of pull out a few pieces and have you highlight what permissions you needed to give yourself. So pieces that sort of caught my attention there was, you mentioned at some point with the particular project that you were going to lead, like your small self put your hand up. And I think that's so, I can resonate with that, like as I saw you doing it, because I can almost picture myself in certain situations, the timidness of like, can't I, the self-doubt, the inadequacy,
Yeah.
the feelings at that leadership table that I personally have felt over years and years that I've had to overcome the small Sean put her hand up, so that really
Yeah.
resonated with me.